taking your sheet?
Yes. I'm following it anyway. I'm in trouble. Mr. Jensen, it is your turn now. And I just want to say that a lot of people don't know how Scott and staff, the governor's office, economic development, has allowed us to work with them and helped us out over the years, and they have been very helpful to the Hutto EDC. Mr. Jensen.
Thanks. Yeah, my name is Matthew Jensen with the Office of the Governor, Economic Development and Tourism Division. I'm the Director of Business Marketing. So I basically market everything that isn't tourism. So I want permanent visitors. They're going to stay, buy homes, pay taxes, get jobs. That's my goal, is to bring them to Texas. I also I have a newborn at home, so if I slip into Persian, then the speech here. Yeah, I'm glad that Scott invited me to come out. I'm just going to go over a quick update of kind of our office, what we're seeing happening in the last few months, over the past year, and then also kind of our goals at the office and what we're trying to achieve, and really how most of our success is driven from great communities like Hutto and Scott that understand economic development. They get the community engaged, and that's really the key to economic development in Texas. It's driven at the local level, and the state is just here to support it and help the communities where they can be successful. Just a quick overview. We've actually had in the recent months had some change. If you've worked with our office, I'm just going to go over quickly. We do have a small business development team in our office. We have just as of 3 days ago, have a new director of that initiative. His name is Amir Marabi. He was on the team before, but now he's the director. Our aerospace division, these are all under the inside the governor's office, economic development and tourism. The Texas business development, which is really the main component of our office. As you can see, we have domestic, international recruitment, business research, enterprise fund analysis, and marketing, and then we also have our Mexico City office. We have the development bank. If you're unfamiliar with that, we do have some. We have. It's not a bank that actually has money, but we do somehow are able to give the loans, so that way we have some great programs for small to mid-sized businesses that are looking to take that next step to grow. So there's some very good low-cost funding loan options in our bank. Emerging Technology Fund. Again, as of 2 days ago, has a new director, interim director, Patrick Boswell, and then our Texas Tourism is Brad Smith. Julie Chase had moved to, is now at the Austin Chamber. She was the previous director of tourism. So as you can see, we kind of had quite a bit. Oh, and actually, Texas Business Development used to be Roberto de Hoyos. He was the over business development in Glen Hartman. So all those have changed within the last 2 months. So it's most people we know that have been within the office and involved in what we're doing. So it's not any kind of big shakeup. A lot of people just switch around. Some changes, people taking new positions. But this is kind of an overview of our office, and Aaron Demerson is great. He sends his regards. He loves. He actually likes to get out and speak to the community. So he wants me to send his regards to the group. Just a quick. Since I am the director of business marketing, I like to plug some of the. These are some of the national, international news that we get for some of the accolades for economic development and for business climate. So just a few of the things. CNBC named us top state for business. This is something we've received a few years. We've received about 4 years now. We go back and forth with other states. for top spots, usually based on a few different metrics. But we have our area development is a gold shovel winner, which actually is probably more significant for communities such as Hutto, because it incorporates all the projects there throughout the state, and especially the impact that these projects have on smaller communities. So they don't necessarily look at the size or investment, but they look at that compared to the size of the community and the impact it's having. So we're proud of that award, so that that we're not only bringing jobs to Texas, but jobs that and projects that impact the communities that they're coming to. Fortune, we always try. We're proud of our headquarters. It's one of the I think one of the most surprising stats for international companies we meet with is how many Fortune 500 and 1,000 headquarters we have within the state. They usually think of California and New York as kind of those states. So recruitment activity from our office. These are projects that we have touched. It's not necessarily representative of all the projects for economic development, but from 2003 till August 2012. We worked projects that created over 141,000 jobs and more than $47.7 billion in investment in the state. So that's the level of involvement from our office, and kind of you can see the amount of projects that come through our office. Not all of the projects we work receive state incentives. We may help them coordinate with the state or state agencies that are helping them get permitted and established. Texas Enterprise Fund is one of our largest. We call it our deal closing fund. After a community has been selected and they've worked with a company to incentivize them, the Texas Enterprise Fund will come in and depending on the amount of jobs and the impact that they're bringing to the area, will pay a cash grant, pretty much cash jobs per head for those companies. Since 03 till June, we've had 98 awards, and we've awarded $465 million. It's created 63,000 direct jobs with a capital investment of $22.37 billion. So this, I want to note this slide because we are coming up on our legislative session. This is a very valuable tool. I know sometimes this is focused on some larger projects. Typically the projects for a smaller community are 50 plus jobs, and a larger community maybe 75 plus jobs that these would qualify for this program. But these projects, although they may not land in the smallest of communities, still have a great impact on the state and the value they bring. Such as Apple decided to hire 3,600 people in Austin. That's going to have a sweeping effect on the whole area of the greater Austin area. There'll be a lot of people such as me that work downtown that live in Round Rock and live in the surrounding communities that benefit from these large locations. So it's something that as governor's office employees, we're not allowed to lobby for these things. So we look directly to our communities to help us support economic development. Our Texas Enterprise Fund, our Texas Emerging Technology Fund, which in a recession era are first on the chopping block for ways to gather money back. It's really not a huge amount of money that we use, and it's all based on cost recovery. And when companies do not meet the goals that they've agreed to, there are clawbacks, and we take the money back. So it's important to know that because, as you know, sometimes the only thing that people hear is companies coming into town and we're giving them a bunch of tax dollars, and they, as a free gift to them, as the corporate welfare of the city. And we know that that's not true. It's an investment we make as a city or a state, and we expect a return through jobs and through sales tax revenue. So it's important that these programs they get a lot of publicity, and a lot of people look at it as their tax dollars just being given away to corporations. It's important that we educate the community on how we come up with the amounts that we give to these companies and how we expect to receive an investment from it. So just going to quickly go over some state some state facts unemployment compared throughout other states. And these are, I think, there's some handouts here. I have the state-to-state comparison. You'll see a few of these charts on there to take with you. But these are great charts. Our research team puts these together. We don't, like to say, it ain't bragging if it's true. So we just like to put it on paper and compare it with some other states and just kind of say, well, we'll let you make a decision on where you think Texas is doing as far as some of these employment growth. We continue to create jobs at a level that's above the national pace and many times above the entire national economy. So since December 2011, we've added 38,000 net jobs, and that was 39% of the entire U.S. Amount of jobs. So that's pretty significant. Our growth for the out of the top largest 15 states, you see Texas is growing pretty quickly. And then on a percentage base, you see some of the other states, North Dakota, West Virginia, grew at a faster pace percentage-wise, but most of those states, had a good place to go but up. So, and Texas has, it stayed pretty well at the top throughout the recession. So we're competing even with, states that have bottomed out and that are recovering. So that's good news. Another good thing to see is so far in 2012 we're leading residential construction builds. I live in Terra Vista and Round Rock, and I noticed that these empty lots that sat empty for 2 or 3 years, all of a sudden there's a lot of action. Houses are going up, so it's good to see for me also. So these are just some of the stats. You can kind of see where Texas is and what we're doing. So this is, if you haven't been to the Texas Water for Business website, it's this is kind of my baby on the economic development side. A few years back, I was able to break free from the governor's office website because we were kind of buried in there. And since economic development was so important, the governor allowed us to pull that out of his website, even though it directs his website will direct you right to here. This website focuses directly on economic development. It has some fantastic tools and information on it. The snapshots that you have, the state comparison, are updated regularly, and they're all under the data and resources under Texas snapshots, industry reports. If you're curious about what a specific industry is doing in Texas, how they're growing, what areas of the state they may be focused in, you can find all of that in a really easy to read, USA Today format report. That's very easy to get a good feel for. And if you're going to any meetings, it's great material to take with you to give an idea of what's happening currently within the state. We have so a wealth of information here that can be used. It's updated regularly. So if you want to know any of that information I put up on the screen, if you want to know kind of where Texas is at that point, and some great maps put together by. They've recently started to put industry growth and in big companies and where they're located throughout the state, and it's very, very useful if you're looking to target a specific industry or suppliers for that industry. You can quickly get an idea if that's something that's feasible, if those companies are nearby. It's something that can be helpful. And then there's some other information. Like I talked before, incentives and financing. I really worked hard to bring together all the I guess most used and relative incentives and financing that are available at the state to this one place right here. You can find them all over at the Department of Ag and the governor's website and the Workforce Commission. You can go around all those sites and try to figure out what's going on, but we pull them all together right here and summarize them and made it really easy to understand who can qualify for them, how they qualify, who they need to talk to apply. So we've really made it easy for a company or a consultant assisting a company that's looking to locate how to find that information. Business climate is just some great info on there. And then another This is the lower part of the site. Here's a few things. We have this new online site search request form. If anyone's working with a company, or a company is just interested in Texas in general, they can go and fill out this form, and it immediately goes to our development team, which will contact them and find out more information. If you have a company that's already decided they want to locate in Hutto, but they maybe qualify for state incentives, they would also fill this out so we can get a quick idea of their project scope and scale. And this immediately, if they mention a specific city such as Hutto, we'll go right back to Scott and his team with that information. So it's a great way to partner with the state and to capture people that may be just considering, want some information. It's a great way for us to capture leads and then get them out to the communities they're interested in. There's some maps on here. There's also this foreign and domestic relocation guide. It's not very, a lot of people don't know about it, but it's a fantastic resource of information, even if you're not a foreign or domestic, a foreign company. It has all the steps you need to establish your business, in the state of Texas. And all the links to the Secretary of State's office, all those, steps that you may have to kind of dig around for. We kind of pulled them all out and put them in this guide. So there's some great information on here. A GIS interactive map. It has tons of data on the state. You can do heat maps, see the demographics, see graduates. You can do drive time reports to see what kind of workforce which is available within a half an hour of a certain area. It's a really great resource. We're working on even putting more data on there. You can overlay things on there to see railroad and ports and all kinds of things. So it's very useful when. And then workforce data, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. But workforce data is probably the #1 thing that get asked for by companies and consultants. They have to compare workforce when considering multiple states, apples to apples. So they use a national service to get this information. But they know that workforce is going to be the one stat that's probably outdated. From that source. So they really like to see workforce information that's updated and available at a local level. And so what we've done is the Texas Workforce Commission has some great tools that are buried about 600 web pages deep in their site. And what we've done is we brought them right up to the top. They're summarized in here. I didn't want to bring up the live website, but it gives you exactly what they're looking for. It's a great way to search for workforce. So if someone's scrambling to get some workforce data and they have some specific questions, there's some great tools on here. They can pick out the county and city specifically and get the information the Texas Workforce Commission has for the most recent data. So it's just a great resource, not only for economic development, but for the city in general, because it's geared at companies that are looking to expand. It's looking for people that want to move and create business here. So it's a great place to send someone, or if you're just looking for reports about the current state of Texas, it's a great place to go. Another thing, so I wanted to touch recently, we meet with a lot of companies and consultants in our office. We actually travel around the world and the nation throughout the year. We go to South America, we go to Europe, we go to the major metros around the United States, and we meet with consultants and companies that are looking to expand and relocate. Part of these consultants, we start to hear a lot of things that they're pretty obvious for what they're looking for. But I just want to touch on a few things that we were recently in New York. We met with some consultants, CBRE, and Ernst & Young, and a few other consultants that consult with some very large companies throughout the world and the nation, and they just things that we're hearing quite often from these consultants. I wanted to run over quickly. They've expressed the importance for a community to know their assets. So if that it's important for them to know that what industries they currently have, if there's an expansion industry that they might be able to go after, that's important, that they're not trying to overreach, attract an industry that they really can't support through workforce or through trained employees. Also, the market the available sites correctly. We had a great presentation from a consultant from CBRE who went over how they look at a greenfield site. So if you present an empty piece of land to a company that's looking for to locate for one reason or another, he gave some great feedback. First, one of the main things he said is if it doesn't have a level 1 environmental study on the site, it's not even a site. It's just the first one he just threw it, because he doesn't have time to wonder if there's going to be environmental issues with that site. He said I look at hundreds and hundreds of sites, and so he cuts them almost immediately, which was good information to hear. He also said look for anything that looks on the site zoning that may be historical for one reason or another, a height restriction of 10 feet or 20 feet that may be restrictive to industry coming in. Get those rezoned so they can be more flexible for different companies, and also have some information about some general costs involved in getting rail to the site. A lot of companies are looking for dual power, which is difficult to get, but still, if they ask, you might want to have some information about how they might be able to get 2 sources of power to the redundant power, which is kind of an odd request. And almost every company won't really need that, but some of the data centers and other projects they do run into that issue. Also, have focus data ready. That's part of that workforce data that I discussed. They want data on hand. That's a quick way for them to cut. A list of communities they're looking at. If the workforce data is there, it's what they're looking for. It'll keep them on the short list, and it'll keep them running. But if they have to start looking for the data, they may go with someone that already has the data that's available and it's clear. So, workforce data that's ready, and data on the demographics and the area are great. Also, the website. I like to think our website is great, and all these companies are going to it to decide. But the reality is they lean heavily on the consultants. The consultants use, like I said, a national database of information to compare, and they typically go to the website when they're looking for local information or workforce information. We've had numerous consultants say that the only reason they will ever go to a community's website is to find workforce information. So if you can have that information available and on the site, that's the best way to capture them when they're trying to get some information on where to locate. And then educate the community. I've talked a little bit about this, but the most important thing we can do about these incentives is educate the community that these are incentives. It's an investment. It's not free money for companies to relocate to the area. If they understand how economic development works, how the investment works, and what money we're expecting to get back from that company located in our area, and all the benefits it has, they're much more likely to be supportive of it. But I would say most of the time, the community hears about it in the paper when they've decided to make their announcement they're located. Company A is coming to Hutto. Hutto offers, $4 million in assistance and they go, we're giving $4 million in tax dollars to this company. That company has plenty of money. They don't need our $4 million. But if they understand, the investment and where that, how small that $4 million is to the investment that comes back to the community in so many ways, it's so helpful to a project that gets off the ground. I mentioned the Apple project earlier. You may or may not know that they announced that they were going to come to Austin. The state was on board with incentives. The city was on board with incentives, and the county just decided, I don't know if I want to give them incentives anymore. We're not sure that it's important to bring Apple to our community. County leadership, I think there's just not an understanding of the value of what that. What that type of, not only the clout of a company like Apple coming to the area, but the jobs, and then the tertiary effect of, suppliers and everyone else that works with Apple that will flock to that epicenter of business. So once the community understands those things, it's you won't run into problems like that. And sometimes you know, we've seen projects as big as Apple. You know, run into issues with the city, deciding at the last minute, oh, maybe we don't want to provide those incentives, and they just get up and go someplace else, because that's really their prerogative to try to get the best deal for relocation. And then their final ask is create flexible programs. So if you, as a city, decide to put together some economic development programs, some incentives and tools for these companies, they always ask that they be flexible, so that it's not, they don't have to fit into a specific you know, piece to make it work. They want to tell you what their needs are and see if you can be flexible to work with them, you know, either on funding or low-cost loans or ways that you know, you can be flexible with the incentives that you're offering. Sometimes they don't. Even at the state level, we all, you know, they're not interested in the cash grant at all. They just want our assistance. They also, or maybe want access to low-cost loans. They prefer that rather than a cash grant, so they don't have to be tied to a contract. So these are just a few of the items that we see as the state of things that are being asked for by consultants. So essentially, these are the kind of things that we're working on a daily basis in our office. We're trying to make sure that companies have the information they need, that we're working closely with communities, and that you know, that the communities have what they need. Like I said, we're coming up on a legislative session. The governor has not yet put together his you know, his focused items for the legislative session, but those should be forthcoming pretty soon. And I know, you know, some of his primary goals are going to be economic development, getting some money back into education, and those are things I think that you know, we all can agree are important. So you know, the support from the communities is key to what we're doing. Pretty much, I think that's the, you know, the update from our office. What I do want to express is that you know, that our office is really a resource, and a lot of people don't take full advantage of it. We have a full, we do have a, you know, we have a full research team there. If you feel like you need some data on the state or the area that we might have, feel free to call our research team and ask them for that information, because that's what we're there to provide to help the city be successful. So we're there, we're willing to help. All of our information is right here in the staff directory. You'll find a listing of who does what in our office and who's best to contact. Feel free to contact me on anything that you have in the office. I kind of you know, touch everybody in our office, so I'm happy to facilitate, you know, any information requests or information that you're looking for. Or even suggestions on, you know, information that might be helpful to be on our website that isn't. And then, so Aaron Demerson, our director, he's big on trivia, and he always likes to bring one item to give away as trivia when he leaves. So he asked that I bring one of our illustrious portfolios to you. I'm the first person that can tell me that the year that the city of Hutto was established. What? Well, per your website, the city website, is that the year it was incorporated, or?
Yeah, it's incorporated.
It says 1876 on the website.
1876.
I'll trust the knowledge that comes from Not only do I implore you to look at our website, but also your website. Verify that fact is correct. It said established, so I don't know. That's a loose term. That could be assigned in the city of Hutto. But once again, thank you for having me. I appreciate this opportunity. Anytime you need an update or information on economic development or what's happening with the state, happy to provide it. So, thank you.